Space Podcast, Third Space Podcast, Third Space Podcast, Third Space Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Third Space Podcast, episode number 91, Cream of the Crust. I wasn't too convinced by this title. I'm not sure it applies, but we came up with it within the episode, and so I'm going with it. But the primary focus of this episode is Superpowers and Drawbacks, which returns after a few episode hiatus. This time we lead into Superpowers and Drawbacks. We can't help ourselves talking about the fallout from July 4th, how to save money, penny pinching, frugality, Costco, all kinds of little topics that are just kind of fun to chat about. And then we lead into Superpowers and Drawbacks, which happens to deal with food and money savings as well. So it's a nice, fun episode, and I hope you enjoy.
Third Space Podcast, Third Space Podcast, Third Space Podcast, Third Space Podcast.
All right.
All right. Podcasting.
Podcast time. Two guys that are hilarious.
Two guys, one podcast.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since we've done Superpowers and Drawbacks, so I think we should jump right in and kick off Superpowers and Drawbacks.
Yeah.
I know you're excited. Hopefully well rested. I am, of course.
Can I admit something silly about this? Superpower and Drawbacks. Like even though it's only 4 things, apparently my brain has the capacity to juggle 3 things easily, and you add a 4th, and I'm dropping it all. And so I have to write down while I quietly try to make sure it's not in the audio. So the little title, at least the beginning of the title. Otherwise, I don't know what happens. That 4th thing makes it all go away.
Well, they say that the average human can remember 7 digits, and that's why we have 7 digits in a phone number.
Yep.
And
that's why I'm at 3.
So 7 digits, 3 superpowers and drawbacks. I will interject. Today is July 5th, the day after Independence Day. And I'm not normally a person who takes joy in the suffering and pain of others, but on July 5th I am. And in my town today, pretty much everyone is kind of a walking zombie. Half of the people because they were up all night shooting fireworks until 2 a.m. and the other half of people because everyone else was awake until 2 a.m. shooting fireworks and herding their dogs and their runaway cattle and all kinds of other animal nonsense.
It's like a collective hangover for your town.
for everyone. There's like a haze of gunpowder and random chemicals just like hovering in the air. There were so many fireworks everywhere.
And you take pleasure in this because
I take mostly pleasure in the suffering of the pet owners who, of course, were up in arms again. I think we had a minor protest in our minuscule downtown area against fireworks in general from the people, clutching their doggies.
What would your stance be? It's dangerous. There are injuries. You can read some reports about explosives hurting people. I'm being serious. Like is that the case you would make? Is that this is slightly dangerous and it's a package toward kids, or maybe that could be your angle? Is that it's clearly,
I mean, I think these are lunatics. So it's not you're trying to think rationally about it, but they don't. They just think my doggies are suffering. And that's why they're out there. So anyway, I just wanted to interject that little bit. I'm happy today, having a great day, long weekend.
Do you sleep fine through the night? Like
I slept fine.
Does it wake you up? Okay.
I slept fine. I mean, it was a constant explosion from about 9:30 p.m. to about 12:30 p.m. with moderate levels of explosions both before and after that. I took a walk at like 3 p.m. and there were people shooting fireworks. Like, totally a waste of your fireworks to shoot them into the air at 3 p.m. But they were doing it anyway.
The kids doing their sparklers or something.
No, these were the ones. These were the
big
mortars.
Ones you can't even see. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they would launch up and I guess they were getting their test.
I'm guessing those are like at least $5 to $10 a pop if they're like bought at a I don't know.
And maybe they were getting their tests set up ready because goodness knows they had enough of them. They were just I
like that.
I don't know if I've heard anything like it before. But I enjoyed it. It was like a weird experience to be like in my house and the whole thing was shaking, like an earthquake as, multiple neighbors are launching giant freaking mortars in the air. I went out into my yard this morning and had multiple like rockets, like the little cardboard things with sticks and stuff, just like strewn about from, stray fire. I felt like I was fighting Hamas or something.
Do you think in our culturally or politically divisive like culture that like I'll just say clearly like conservative sort of champion yay America, and so that's gotten more intense. The celebration is like
absolutely
it's on.
It was so on this time. This year it was so on. People were amped.
There's like cultural tide shifting in the news about various culture wars being won by the right kind of thing, or at least right. And people, so it's like,
they were so full of America last night. It was just and probably beer, but like it was something.
Beer in America.
It was
that's so American.
Else. Yeah.
Did you do anything? Did you eat a hot dog or a hamburger, or what you?
I did astonishingly little. Last year, I actually went to the big fireworks show. That's a huge ordeal to get into and out of. This year, I did nothing. Right. I grilled a ribeye. For lunch,
but
you
that's
can count
not even.
that.
Well, you would have done that anyway, right? Like that was not even a deviation, or was it?
At least they were on sale for July 4th, so I stocked up. That's my one July 4th thing. Otherwise, I didn't really do anything this year except for just imbibe the aura of independence.
I don't want to go down this rabbit hole or anything like that, or even get too personal about you, but like you make decent money. You could obviously eat ribeye when you want to, but you are pretty strictly only when it's on sale.
If it's not on sale, it's like between $14 and $19 a pound for ribeye. Which,
and when you say, so what I'm saying is you operate like too expensive. Like clearly, it would not affect your life probably in any discernible way. However, you have like an internal compass of like, this is what a ribeye should cost, and when it deviates from that, that's like not offensive to you, but it's just a non-starter. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, is that an accurate?
Yeah, portrayal? I want good value in all the things that I purchase or consume.
Yeah.
And like you drop that phrase, "I make good money," as if like I'm rolling in the dough, which I am not.
No, yeah, I'm not trying to say that.
I mean, monitoring my budget and. Like because of my value consciousness, I don't have to be particularly uncomfortable about missing bills or anything.
I guess that's actually like that's what's the same side of that coin is like you are comfortable because you're conscious. And I didn't mean to. Yeah, I'm certainly not, especially on the podcast, just suggesting like anything about your income other than like it's like
right. I mean,
it will make a decision when it wouldn't affect potentially any long or short-term goals. So it's interesting to frame it that way. If it will not affect you, you want the ribeye, but you will not buy the ribeye if it's not on sale. Yeah. And it would, I guess, potentially over time affect some goals slightly, but likely not. So it's just an interesting
stuff
idea.
Adds up. It adds up.
It does. It does.
When you if you say, I was thinking about this the other day. Gosh, we're going way off track again. But I was thinking about this the other day, like. The American economy is built for idiots. Like if you're an idiot, or I'm being pretty harsh there. If you're either an idiot, extremely busy, extremely lazy, or whatever the case may be, you don't have the time. Maybe you're super anxious or dependent or something. But if you don't have the time to like look at your grocery store sales or download the little app that automatically gets you 5% discount or whatever, if you're just buying the default, if you're walking into a place raw dogging it and just grabbing your stuff, going to the checkout, like you're gonna be paying 20% to maybe even some extreme percentage more than what you otherwise would. Like,
let's say if you're really busy and you're like the kind buying milk from the gas station or something like that. It's
gas station
maybe
milk.
like $6 or something instead of Costco's $2 and some change.
$2. Yeah, right. I mean, if you're not paying attention and you're just like snapping up the stuff when you need it just casually, then you're paying a premium. But if you pay, you don't have to like gather up all the neighborhood's little thrifty nickels out of their mailboxes or whatever and snip the coupons. if you just put a minimum amount of attention on it, download whatever app, spend 5 minutes clicking the little coupons or even a snip all button or whatever, then you'll save a significant amount of money. And that applies not only on groceries, but on like all kinds of like
everything.
Subscriptions, your internet company, your
minimum
all
subscriptions
kinds of stuff.
first of all, like because they're trying to push us towards subscriptions and convenience. Like I'll close the loop with this, but you and I, we had this discussion I think on the podcast about like Uber Eats and the various and like, okay, I'm in a I won't say low income apartment complex. I'll say like fine, it's fine, but it didn't. People aren't thriving. Life is fine where I'm at, and like. But it's shocking how many times I see just an Uber or a rideshare company come through, or food delivery here. And my what I'm saying is that like if you just lean in like what you're saying toward convenience, then you don't think much of ordering McDonald's, Uber Eats, but you end up paying $30 or something seriously for like McDonald's, and you do that and you Uber to work or not, or it's 4th of July, maybe you buy a pack of fireworks and it ends up being $49.99 for a little pack, and then you buy a $20. You're like, I'll have a few drinks, but all they have is the Trulies in the 12 pack for $19.99, and literally like so you end up spending, and then you Uber somewhere and you end up spending $200 on like what you wouldn't. It's just crazy how easy it is to spend money in poor ways, and it's all targeted. Like to me, the economy is going toward convenience, and that's obvious. Convenience and these like not prescriptions. What were we just saying? Sorry, remember subscriptions. Yeah. And I hate it because I have to keep track. I somehow like when we got married and all the photos that we're sharing that we were like and Cosmo too, all this like precious stuff. My phone just filled up, and it's like you can go delete one by one, or you can pay for some data like $2 a month, and it's like. I'm like, I don't want to get sucked into this because I'm going to do this $2 a month, which isn't really a problem. $2, okay, but like it solves an immediate problem. But like, so my resistance to do something like buy a $2 data plan a month, like, is probably like yours. A little like it might confuse a lot of people and go, dude, it's $2. I'm like, no, it's a lifetime I'll never get out of. It's a lifestyle.
The only way
stakes are high to me.
The only way I get suckered into any of those sort of subscription plans is if I am absolutely sure that I would have otherwise spent more money off of the subscription. Like which doesn't happen, so I'm not.
Yeah, when is that? What's an example of that?
There is no active example of that. But if, for example, there was a Chick-fil-A subscription where I pay $5 a month and I get, one meal a week or something, I don't know, some sort of obviously value-worthy thing. I'm going to go to Chick-fil-A every month. Like, I just am.
Yep.
And so as long as I'm getting more than $5 of value, I would consider that service. But it would have to be such a good deal to counteract my inherent distaste towards subscription models.
Costco membership, I do it.
Oh, yeah. Costco membership. I was very hesitant. Listen. Man, there's so many things that are coming to my mind, and we're gonna blow it out.
Maybe we just do this, and
Superpowers and Drawbacks, right?
Yep.
Like
that's fine.
Costco membership. You're a Costco evangelist, and you.
I do 85% of my shopping there, and then Aldi is an alternative for like the onion that you need and the milk.
Right.
Like, well, not milk, but like there's just a few products that are not.
Right.
You can't get spices really there unless you buy a bunch. Like if you want 3 years worth of taco seasoning, fine. But
you heavily influenced my curiosity about Costco, especially since the town that I live in now is it's the first time I've been in any reasonable proximity to a Costco. And so I went and checked it out, and they have a lot of stuff, and sometimes they have deals, and I was gifted a membership over the holidays recently, so I've been going to Costco. But the only thing that I regularly buy at Costco is the ginormous bottles of Ba-chan's Japanese barbecue sauce.
Right.
Which is delicious, by the way. And by the way,
overall, though.
By the way, Ba-chan, if you're listening, we'll take your sponsorship. you can give me some
but
free.
not a sponsor right now. We have to say that every time. Chick-fil-A, not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. We don't have any sponsors. But anyway, that's the only thing I buy. But I did the calculations, and if at the rate that I consume this barbecue sauce, if I continue to consume it that way, then it'll pay off. The savings will pay off.
That's
the
hilarious.
membership.
It's just a bottle of sauce. Like, wait, what?
And
It's a big bottle, but
that's the only thing I buy at Costco regularly. Although, I will, when I buy the sauce, I'll keep my eye open for other things that I actually need. And there have been a
they
couple
make
of
it
occasions.
interesting to look around. They have interesting products around. Download the app, by the way. You might not think so, but like, especially when it comes to like yard stuff, I've been wondering if
they
like
have
that
a little
kind of
bit
stuff,
yard stuff,
and a little bit of like the baby stuff alone, the diapers alone.
Yeah, I'm
that's
sure
it,
for
like,
baby stuff. Yeah, I'm sure that makes it worth it. I mean, I have found two T-shirts they had on deep sales, like $6 for a pretty decent T-shirt, and I'm like, okay, I could use a T-shirt. And like some seasonings they have in a mega container, and it's not going to go bad, and I definitely use that seasoning regularly, so it's better to just go ahead and buy it in bulk.
Yeah. It's not catered toward Bennett
No, it's
necessarily, but it like it's a great store.
what I've been most disappointed in is their meat selection, because
I was hoping that would be good. That's not something I buy a lot of, but yeah.
it's not good. It's over the average. Let's put it this way: it's over the average sale price of my normal grocery store. Meaning,
That's shocking to me.
Meaning, every time I go into my grocery store, I can find some kind of beef product that is cheaper than whatever the price is at Costco. And to my relatively limited observation, Costco never puts their meat on sale. It's always the same price. And so
and you have like and grocery stores tend to do a rotation something is on sale.
Yeah,
and
like
just hit
the grocery store
up.
every week they either have T-bones, tri-tip, ribeye, or whatever, some other kind of beef on sale. And so like there's always something for me to get. But at Costco, it's just always ribeyes are, I forget what they are, $14.99 a pound or something like that. Which is
like they're never going to rip you off and have terrible prices, but they don't always have great prices. But they always have quality products. Anything I buy from there is not like, I've had stuff that I don't like, but that's more like, I just probably don't like this experimental thing I bought. Like, I can't even think of an example. Some like turkey meatballs, but it's not like that they were low quality and gross. It was just like, it said it had cranberries in it, and I thought that was interesting, and it was around Thanksgiving, but it just didn't come together for me. That kind of stuff.
Yeah. So
savings.
Yeah. All told, like I'm a Costco participant, but I'm not a Costco evangelist. Like,
do you gas up there? Are you
No,
close enough to just that's where you gas up? No.
I did like twice, but for boring reasons, I don't anymore because the credit card that I use gives me a gas rebate on. This is how you save the money, right? Like you use the benefits that you get, and so I get a steeper rebate by not going to Costco than I do by going to Costco. So anyway, it adds up. That's how I finance my Bugatti and my yacht and other assorted and things. Lifetime supply of Bachan's barbecue sauce.
I find it very funny that sauce might be like why Costco's worth. It is the deciding factor for you, but like why it's worth however long it takes you to.
It's like $9. It's like $9 or something like that for this mega bottle, and you pay $8 for literally half the size at the grocery store.
Yeah.
So
they have different flavors there, but
not at Costco. Costco they only have
here
original.
You go, the original.
But original. So
I got the dipping sauce, by the way, of it. Have you ever seen that and been tempted to get it?
I don't think so.
It's thicker and but like honestly, we'll disagree here. Like I want to like it so much, a Japanese barbecue sauce, and I love Japanese flavors, and I like Korean barbecue. Like it's one of my favorite flavors. And by the way, I don't know just like a brand that's like here's some Korean barbecue sauce from the store that's delicious. I just don't see it that much. Yeah. Anyway, so I was hoping it would be along those lines, and it's just not. So I don't like it, it's a problem of like what I want it to be and what it is. It's not that I taste it and go gross. I just am like, please be Korean barbecue-esque, and it's not. So
it's very soy sweety kind of barbecue sauce, and very liquidy. But it's great for saute. That's mostly what I use it for.
Well loved. It's like it reminds me of when sriracha came on the scene, and everyone was loving sriracha. Yeah.
Sriracha is good. It's good.
Yeah.
I don't
I love it.
consume a whole lot of it though, but it is good. I do enjoy it.
I don't know what your hummus consumption is, but just swirling
0.
that in a little hummus.
Yeah,
okay.
0.
Yeah.
0 now. I mean, there was a time I went through a hummus phase, as everyone does.
During my hummus phase of 2018.
Right. I'm in my hummus era. Speaking of, this is actually a decent segue. Speaking of purchases and saving and everything, it actually does segue into our superpowers and drawbacks a little bit.
Nice.
So do you want to actually with the foods too? We're right there. It's almost as if we planned it, but we didn't.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay. So superpowers and drawbacks. Just to refresh your memory briefly on how it works, I have 2 superpowers that you can choose from. You can choose one or the other. But in order to take one of those, you have to also take one of 2 drawbacks, which I will present to you as well. As kind of a meta thing, I rate the power of the superpowers and drawbacks from 1 to 10, with our kind of running theory that the lower numbers are actually more interesting in a way. And
At least to talk about, yeah. To actually experience might not be.
Well, it might not, yeah. And these that we're going to talk about today are level 3 on a scale of
All right,
1 to 10.
3.
So, a very sweet spot kind of level. 1, 2, and 3 are kind of sweet spot, I think.
I agree with you.
All right. So you ready?
I'm ready. I got my pen ready.
All right. The first superpower is called autopay. And what this is when purchasing anything, you can just say verbally, just put it on my tab. And the transaction will complete, and you'll find that the appropriate amount of money is automatically deducted from your money. You don't have to deal with cards. You don't have to deal with cash, gift certificates, barter, whatever. You don't have to deal with it. You don't have to think about it at all. As long as you have the money somewhere, you can pay. Maybe it's, a jar of coins under your bed or whatever. It doesn't matter. That will be deducted from the value that you own.
Okay. So if I only had if I was really low on funds, but I wanted to use my cash, it would sort of do that.
Yep,
or
it'll just do it. You just say,
pull
just
from
put
whatever I prefer, like kind of magically, whatever source I prefer it to come from.
Right.
Okay.
The only time this fails is if you're totally and utterly broke. And an additional little note is perfectly secure. No one can steal this ability from you or hack your whatever.
Okay.
Like there's no way. Like it
Another
removes
question:
the vulnerabilities of having a card or an app or whatever.
I love this. Can I know how much money I have as well, kind of magically, or do I have to pull up my bank account or go count my money when I basically? I know it's taking from it however I want and with ease and securely, but can I also know how much I have?
I'm gonna say no,
Okay.
not because this is just a verb. There's no device or anything that you have. This is just you say it and it magically happens. It's a superpower. But I'll sweeten the pot a little bit and say that you get mailed a monthly statement every month from a mysterious anonymous address or whatever. That lists all of your purchases and maybe what accounts were pulled from.
Maybe it just rings up in my Chase app or whatever bank apps or whatever too. But
yeah,
it's nice
it'll
to
show
get
up. The withdrawal
Yeah.
will show up in that. Like if it does pull from your normal checking account, then it'll show up there.
It's fairly appealing, but I won't get into the limitations of it, but I might spend more money that way, and I'm not sure that I want to. It's the temptation of efficiency that we just talked about and how easy it is. It could be dangerous.
Could be.
But also it's only dangerous for weak people, and the question is how weak am I? And I'm not afraid to say I have weaknesses, and that expose some sort of we don't. It's not fun to think about money, and that's why I think people are bad with money. Is I don't want to do it. I just want to eat the burger. I don't want to think about the cheese costing more than I am comfortable with. It's only $1 for this cheese, even though I think it should be 15 cents. But I want the cheese. $1's not going to put me under. Screw it. And that's the problem. Is that transaction happens over we'll multiply that by a dozen kind of thing. So, but I like the idea of just not carrying. I'm still gonna have to carry a wallet for my identification and other things like driving in general. So
that's true.
I'm not sure that So I'm just trying to think about why. I'll listen to everything. Like, but like, how convenient is it? Because it's pretty dang convenient right now just to swipe a card, and like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of the magical component of it and how much joy that brings me. And it's like, I don't know. I often like I think there's something to be said for handing over. Like, I think going cashless and being digital is overall hurt our society. And so this is not society wide. This is just me.
But this is also not cashless. You could go totally cash full and only have cash stuffed in a hole in your backyard.
Yeah,
and you would not
it out of it.
You would not have to go shovel it out to get cash out. This would just handle it for you. So it actually that's a potentially big benefit, that you get to avoid the Big Brother aspect of digital currency.
Yeah, the Big Brother aspect, and the like. You're offering me security in that way, potentially. But I don't want my money under the ground.
Yeah,
buried,
sure.
But you want it invested.
Take your pick, of how you store it. You don't have to think about it. You can store it. You can diversify maximally, and this will just withdraw what you need.
Yeah.
Just put it on my tab. And you get to sound kind of cool, saying that everywhere.
It's taken care of, and I wave my hand or whatever.
Right. You're like purchasing your new house, and you're at closing, and you're like, you know what? Just put it on my tab. And everyone like drops their pens, and you just walk out the room. That's pretty cool.
Auto pay. Got it.
Yep, auto pay. In competition with auto pay, the other possible superpower that you can choose is called Flavor Saver. And this one, by clapping your hands in front of you 3 times and saying the name of a food, you can, quote unquote, save or rescue that food from somewhere in the world where it would have gone to waste. So the food is instantly teleported from wherever it is in front of you onto the nearest surface, minus any portions of the food that were contaminated, rotten, unclean, whatever, in some way that would make you not want to eat it. So, for example, to illustrate this power, if someone threw away an entire California-style burrito wrapped in foil, maybe it was a wrong order or something like that, and you clapped your hands and said, burrito, then it would appear right in front of you, ready to eat, removed of whatever portions were contacting, unclean things.
Yeah.
So you never have to worry about contamination or sickness or whatever. You just get whatever it is rescued from its unfortunate dumpster.
But it might not be the freshest. It might be donuts thrown away at the end of the day. It's not like freshly baked donut from the
That's true.
factory line is going. It's usually going to be like, or a smaller portion because someone was going to discard last quarter of their...
But there are no limitations on the use of this power. You can do it as many times as you want, as rapidly as you want.
Oh, okay. And will it ever just be like, I say something specific, like I want the jalapeno popper dip from Publix, and it just says currently none available or something, or will I get some scraps of popper dip possibly?
I mean,
if it's conceivable that something more really specific like that, not just like I want 80-20 ground beef. It's gonna find that somewhere, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, but if you truly can't, if there exists none in reality, then it won't give it to you. Like, it's only scrounging what's available. But yeah, if someone had a big tub of jalapeno popper dip from Publix, and they scooped it out with a spoon or whatever, and they got all they could, but not the little crevice at the bottom of the bin, and they just set it on the counter, intending to throw it away after their cookout or whatever, and you clapped your hands and said jalapeno popper dip from Publix, it would scrounge that popper dip residue from the bottom of the thing and put it smack dab on your table in front of you, ready to consume.
I'm testing the limits because now you think of it's easy to go like, there's a specific restaurant, it's the only one, and I want this from that place, and it would probably say likely like, oh, like it's current. It's not like it goes back in the past to a burrito that would have been thrown away or an order of nachos. It's more just like if someone happens to have walked off from their nachos, it would give me their remaining, the clean remains of their nachos, but not if there weren't any ordered or prepped. So,
yes.
Okay, I'm getting it. I like this a lot.
Oh,
Well,
I was really torn as I was taking a shower this morning and thinking of this superpower, whether you would like this or find it kind of disgusting in a vague way that isn't right based on the rules of the power, but you still can't get over because you're, potentially stealing. Like, imagine David eating, his meal or whatever somewhere, mashed potatoes. Was that what you were about to say?
Well,
some
just
casserole,
food,
some kind of casserole.
His mash. It was actually the full thought. His mash gets on my plate. And that's
and
disgusting. Or fish, and it's all flaked. You're right. The presentation is not. It's safe, and you're guaranteeing that. But
yes, but it's not pretty necessarily.
It's not pretty. In fact, almost necessarily isn't pretty.
Right.
And that's. That would take some getting used to.
Dave, he might be like eating it directly out of the casserole dish, with a spoon and taking a bite and then putting the spoon back in it. And, there are crumbs falling out of the dish a little bit onto the counter. And if you were to just walk in and observe that scene, you would be disgusted and not hungry at all. But you're not aware of any of that context. You're just saying, you know what, I want some shepherd's pie, and you clap, and then it, whatever portion was undaveified appears on your table in front of you. And so you're blissfully unaware, but you could imagine what the circumstances might be.
So I need to push the limits a little further. A kid takes a bite of a cheeseburger from McDonald's, and and they're like kids, and they run off, and they're like, "I'm full" or whatever, and the parents annoyed, and so I want this burger. It appears in front of me and looks virtually the same as when the kid took a bite out of it. We're talking microscopically, all the little spit is removed, and the contamination components are removed, but like it looks like that bite, like you can almost like see the teeth marks or whatever. That nearly precise, just microscopically is what's changed. The gross spit particles.
Yes.
Okay. Which is pretty gross to get this and you could even like if I'm not powerful, or if I'm too sensitive, I might even like see, oh, this is like a 3-year-old kid who took a bite of this sandwich, and then I'm starting to envision it, and I can't help but sort of fill in the gaps in gross way. Or like if they grab the burger in like a kind of an unorthodox way and like squeeze the buns, their fingerprint might still be on it, and so like the presentation's pretty gross. I really think I'd get over it, like knowing I'm safe, because I'd have to fight an intellectual battle and go, yes, okay, but I
this
think
is essentially unlimited free food. This eliminates.
I know. Well, like that value I was about to say is far, like auto pay. You're talking about, for me, a mild convenience. I actually do not feel I have a complaint that it's too easy to pay for things. It'd be better if we had to struggle and like see the cash flow go down. So in some ways, auto pay like concerns me, whereas Flavor Saver, we're talking about
quite
like
appealing.
I'm not and you said there are no limitations. This feels like a not fair. I can go, Danielle, what do you want? Cosmo, what do you want? And I'm feeding the family and like starting to like, that feels a little unfair. Is that not what you had in mind? Is it only for me? Only I can consume the food?
I mean, I envisioned it to be unlimited because I thought you would be a lot more put off by the gross factor.
Well, convincing Danielle might be tough. I really want to say that at first I'm going to be hesitant. There might be some things I'm just like, look, I'm not doing casseroles. Or maybe casseroles are already so mushy that it doesn't look gross to me.
I mean, all right, so look.
I think I'd overcome it, but I might be wrong if I clap 3 times and see disgusting foods. Right. I might be like, or sushi might sit wrong with me. It's like room temperature.
The temperature, that's what I was about to say. The temperature is a factor as well, and the freshness.
Trying to think of what foods I'd just be like, no, I'm not doing this. Yeah, French fries, like
you probably it would take your, imagine that your current food quality consumption is 100%, right? Like you're buying things fresh, you're cooking them or whatever. They're always warm, room temperature, whatever.
Or cold if they need to be.
Yeah, this is probably going to lower that food quality threshold to around 75%, Like you could just re-roll the dice, in some cases until you get food that meets your quality standards. But, after you get 4 burgers with big bites taken out of them, and you're like, ugh, I really don't want to eat another bitten burger. Or just
moon-shaped crescent of a burger that's gross.
Right. The crust.
All the good parts are gone.
A pizza, the crust of slices of pizza, but like there's still some pizza left. Like it was someone who was just getting full on their last slice. that kind of thing. Like, you know, your quality is going to be a little bit less than normal. Yeah, you're going to be saving the money. The gross factor is there. It kind of mitigates. Now,
I'm picturing like, oh, I want a sundae, and it like it's just so melted and gross, and like the ice cream might be like the thing
it would
I
be
don't
hard.
do.
That would be a hard one to use the power for. Yeah.
Room temperature ice cream that's all melted in the bowl is gross.
Right. Yeah, you might be able to get like freezer burned ice cream that's stuck in the back of someone's like freezer that they've forgotten about or something like that. I don't know. It would be
find
tough.
it fairly appealing though.
Good. Hey, that's great. Maybe this one meets your tastes. All right. Well, don't get too excited. Okay, we see where you're leaning. That's okay. Don't get too excited because in order to take one of those, you have to take a drawback. The first drawback, very simple, I think. It's called trash can't. Not trash can, but trash can't.
I get it.
And
Can I guess what it is?
Please do.
Well, you can't use a trash can.
That's literally the sentence written down. You can't use a trash can.
So,
any trash.
man, I don't know where to go with that. Keep going.
Yeah, any trash you attempt to put in a trash can will bounce out like it's repelled by magnetism. So if you try to throw something in the trash can, it'll go and just bounce off and hit the wall or the floor or whatever. If you try to hold it in your hand and like squash it down in there, then it's almost as if you're pushing two magnets together and it just repels and comes out everywhere. Now, this does not affect dumpsters or littering or like trash bags, just the bags themselves.
So you do have a way to collect your waste, but the convenience of a thing being properly stored in its place, and trash is especially important to have like out of sight in a way that's. We've talked about this. Everything should have its place, but trash is like certainly one. Even people that don't think in those terms still think in those terms when it comes to like a trash can.
Yes.
So that's a pretty big drawback because. I quickly will rectify a situation if I'm in a room and I'm like, I need to throw this away and there's not a trash can. I will like get a trash can. Like this is not a negotiable thing. This is how I have to operate. Like things can't, otherwise like things pile up and get messy and trashy literally quickly. And so, this drawback is pretty terrible. And then the alternative, you can just put it in trash bags. Now I'm like a freaking white trash guy, like with like, or like, I'll just buy a dumpster and put it outside my house. Like
you could do that.
Yeah, but that's again, like this is very trashy. like this is very annoying.
Yeah, I figured this one would be especially annoying to you.
I do not like this.
You could always have Danielle throw your stuff away for you. Imagine how annoying that would be for her, like to always be around and you like wipe your mouth with a napkin or whatever and be like, hey babe, throw this away for me, and like she has to throw everything away.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was like me and I can't use a trash can. We can exist. For some reason I was just thinking about in my personal spaces, but I'm now realizing it's like even like at work, or like after lunch, I just need to throw away the little to-go container or something. Like I can't.
You just have to be known as the guy who leaves his trash on the fast food restaurant table, or whatever. Or
can you imagine? Listen, I took a superpower and drawbacks.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need. Can you be my trash guy? Like I just am kind of.
You throw it out the window.
Ask you to
throw it out the window and get pulled over. Listen, officer, I can explain. I gotta be a flavor saver, and the only way. Listen, one thing. Here's a donut.
Here's the problem. If I lean toward taking flavor saver, and I want to like just go, nope, try again with the donut.
Oh
thing,
right, you couldn't throw it away.
Like I can't throw it away.
Oh man, synergy. Yeah, I planned that.
Trash can't. I hate it. And part of the thought experiment here is what loopholes. Like asking Danielle to throw it away actually is I think she could get it if my superpower can benefit her,
think how much ranch think how much ranch she can eat.
Yeah, ranch. How would it be delivered to me? How are these foods delivered? To go back to like do I need to set a plate, my own thing down and set, and then it like just plops.
The,
however, so
the-
ranch would actually just be plopped on a plate or a
down on
bowl
a-
or however I
Right.
could even have a container and be
Well,
ready for some ranch.
the power says the food is instantly teleported in front of you on the nearest surface. So,
Okay.
like, you have to make sure
Yeah.
that you're positioned appropriately. Otherwise, you might
Yes.
get a glob of ranch on the floor or something.
Yeah. I'm like in the car and I go, I want some orange soda, and
it appears on
like,
your
oh no,
hood.
I'm sticky. Yeah. Trash can't. I don't like it at all. But
But it might be worth it.
it's more of like I'm not going to just have trash everywhere. I'm going to just be like, Danielle, you're my person, and then I have to think about how I get an act. Like literally. So then it's like a collaborative thing. Like, hey, how much is this going to tick you off? But imagine I would get lazy pretty quickly. Imagine I'm like, it's after dinner and I'm just like,
Yeah.
you might as well do the dishes every time. Like I can go over there, but then I need to obviously scoop this off into the tray, and I can't. So you might as well. So it really ends up being this like big burden on the other person. So
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
That amuses me to think about. All right, but there's one more drawback that you could choose aside from trash can't, and it's called external shedding. So this one is weird. Anywhere you touch for 5 minutes or more is seeded with hair follicles, and these hair follicles grow human hair of a random but uniform natural color at an accelerated rate of 1 inch per 3 hours of contact. So, for example, if you go to sleep at night and you get a full night's sleep, then in the morning you'll have approximately 2.5 inches of hair growing from your bed. The density of the hair is the same as that on the human head. Clothing doesn't grow hair, so you're not going to grow hair out of your clothes, but the clothes also don't block the contact. So if you sleep wearing clothes, it's everywhere under your body is still going to grow hair. Hair grown via this method will age and turn gray if you don't touch its roots again within a week. And after another week, it'll fall out and then disintegrate and leave nothing behind, leave the surface as it was before.
So 2 weeks before it's gone.
Yeah.
1 week to gray, 1 week to just disappear completely.
Yeah.
Everything I touch, you said?
For 5 minutes or more.
For 5 minutes or more. So I'm not bumping into a wall and there's going to be patches, or I'm not walking
Right.
barefoot now.
Right.
When you say touch, you don't mean like with my hand. You mean my entire body?
Yes. Or your clothed body.
Does this affect other human beings?
Oh, interesting question. I didn't consider that. No, that would be too weird, I think. So we're
I
gonna
think
say
so too.
We're gonna say no.
Like I give someone a hug or pat them on the back or
5
shake
minutes?
their hand, and they're oh wait, you're right, 5 minutes.
Yeah, but if you're holding Cosmo,
I know,
giving
I
him a piggyback ride or whatever, and then like he's got hair growing from his chest and face and everything, that would be pretty weird.
And you said 2 inches an hour for
1 inch per
Sorry.
3 hours of contact. So yeah, if so
sleeping. I'm
sleeping,
waking up.
like I said, that was the example that I
Yeah.
calculated out. So yeah, if
That's
you sleep,
sustained.
right? Sustained.
Say it
contact.
again.
I wrote down 1 inch per 3 hours of contact. So presumably, if you sleep for 8 hours a night, 2.5 inches, roughly or thereabouts, of hair growing from your bed. If you're sitting on the couch and you watch an hour-long movie, I guess then you would expect hair to grow at about like short beard length. I mean, it's going to grow. It's going to continue to grow for that 2-week period.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about that, like a TV show, or if it's over 5 minutes. You said how long? Before
Yeah,
5
minute at the 5 minute mark. Then the follicles magically appear or whatever, and then they're there and they're gonna grow.
Yeah.
And the growth rate accelerates or refreshes the longer you remain in contact.
I'm curious about how. Yeah. So my drive to so where do I spend my time? Where do I speed up things? Like taking a shower, I'm like, I don't want to deal with the soap getting here or whatever. So touching things quickly.
Right.
I don't want my
Toilet
toothbrush
seat.
to get hairy, so I'm gonna like quickly. I'm just starting to like you start measuring things like you perspective shift is actually pretty profound. You accept that your car seat is going to get hairy. Perhaps you accept that your sofa, definitely your bed,
right.
You may. How coarse is the hair? Pretty like fine. Or is it exactly my hair's coarseness or something?
We'll just say it's your hair. It's like your hair. Yeah.
Okay.
You would have to develop alternation systems, right? Like you mentioned your toothbrush. Maybe you have 2 or 3 toothbrushes, and you use one for one period of time, and so that the hair doesn't get too out of control. It just it sheds and then it disappears, and you can use it again.
Can I, just for the thought of this experiment, I don't want to have the embarrassment factor, or is that part of it? Like culturally, like why is the desk in my classroom? Why is this marker? Why is this marker? Why is this podium? I don't know. Like explaining to, like that's actually because that's like there's an embarrassment factor that I don't want to factor in. I want to just I'll negate it for a moment.
Embarrassment / cool factor. I mean, not everyone can do this.
I'm trying to think. Some art I could do, like just trace like my name and make some cool lawn art over it. I don't know.
I mean, teaching, I imagine you could mitigate by just being a pretty ambulatory teacher. You're always walking around and moving or whatever. And markers, you can replace the markers.
Are the insides of my shoes just like a nightmare?
No, it doesn't grow on shoes.
No, you said clothes. That's
it doesn't grow on clothes, and shoes count as clothes, I would say.
I'm trying to think of is there an unorthodox benefit? And I know I've used that word twice now on this podcast. Can I change? Can I reframe this? And what could I do? It doesn't work on people, so I can't start some balding thing. It would be good if you were a couple of hours
stranded in the tundra, and you could get some warmth by growing some hair.
So I just take a job in the tundra.
Right. You could. Let's see. Well, it disappears after a couple of weeks. It disintegrates.
I don't like. There's a gross factor. I don't like hairy. I don't like hairy stuff.
I don't either. I'm not a fan of hair in general. So
I was once in a haunted horror house. You might have even it was a Ripley's Believe It or Not. And I think it was one of these vacations that my parents and I went on, and I took you and it was a pitch, maybe not, but we went on these little things sometimes.
I remember going to a Ripley's thing with you and your parents.
There's Ripley's museums, but this was a horror house, and one of it was a pitch black room in which you had to navigate.
Hairy walls.
You actually started off had to be in contact with someone with you, and so the whole crew was touching each other, but you had to touch the wall, and there were different. And I was very interested in the different textures, like a little bit slimy wall. That actually didn't bother me, which who likes slime? It's gross, whatever. But it was the hairy wall that
gotcha.
Unnerved me a little bit. so I
don't remember a slimy wall. I do remember a hairy wall, so that it must have been that.
And the slimy, I don't think they went with it would leave it on your hand. It was probably a slick, almost like slides or the plastic with a little water. It wouldn't have actually. That's why it probably didn't bother me. If it was gooey, where I remove my hand and there's
sticky,
a pool to the goo, I would hate
residue,
that.
Glue stick residue or something.
Yeah, I don't think they bother with that. But the hairy was just I don't want this. And thinking of hairy. I'm trying to think of any decor, like a throw pillow that the shag resembled. There's the shag carpets that are really nice and pleasant, but then there are more hairy ones that are ew, I don't like that when it gets in that direction.
Or fur. Have you ever been in a place with deerskin rugs or whatever, where it's it's like the deer's fur on the rug? I've always found that to be kind of weird.
When it's fine and soft, I feel I feel a paradox of appreciating the softness, but it's hair. It's so I both appreciate the softness and don't want to lay on it, or don't want to continue. I can go, ooh, that's really soft, but I don't like it. I don't like this one either. Which is good. I mean, that's the point, right? And okay. So we have all auto pay, flavor saver, trash can, and external shedding. That's
Yes.
an outlier for weird. I mean,
It's
maybe
pretty
the flavor
weird.
saver's weird, but
They're both a little
mean-
weird. I mean, we've been doing this Superpowers and Drawbacks for like 6 years now, so
gotta get a little strange.
you run out of the easy ones.
Well, honestly, weirdness is what makes this interesting.
Yeah.
Auto pay, I can just tell you there's no world in which I'm taking auto pay and taking one of those. Nor do I even if you just offered me auto pay with no drawback, I'd be like, yeah, I'll take it, but like cautiously. So that's how, I don't know if that surprises you, but it just
surprises
doesn't.
me a little bit. But, I understand
I'm
your
trying
your
to say,
reasoning.
where does it convene? It's cool, but like I'm thinking with restaurants too. Do you get to leave a little earlier? Like they bring you the check, and
Yeah.
now I don't have to put the card down and then wait for them to run it. But
Right.
half the time they're bringing that device to you anyway, and I want to confirm that I've paid them. Like so, it's minimal. Doesn't strike me. Flavor saver really. I think I'll get over the gross factor. This is one of those experiential things. I might be completely wrong. I might take it and go, I've screwed up. I do not want this ever. This is disgusting. Like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
But even in those cases, like, when you're in a pinch and you need some sustenance, like, it's going to, that's valuable. And also just monetarily, the savings could be very valuable, potentially. If I decided I'm going to try my first week with this superpower, that's the only thing I'm only going to eat using flavor saver superpower. So I'm very tempted to take it.
Yeah.
Again, that synergy or anti-synergy with trash can't could be very frustrating, as I'm wanting to discard, to get a proper, like if I say jalapeno popper dip and like these remnants come up and I just keep trying until I get a good batch, like that seems potentially like,
Yeah. Very likely, even.
Like, it seems like if I did this, a routine I would have is I'd make sure I have my plate in front of me and I have my trash can next to me, right? So I can just discard the gross, like, nope, can't do this one. I might, again, there's some like ice cream might be tough, or fish, anything seafood might just be like, I can't do this, sushi, but there are things that I feel like, and a microwave, I'd want to heat things up possibly, or cool things down. I don't know, but I think it's appealing.
Right.
I think it's pretty appealing. External shedding is, this gets into where it's like the more difficult it is to conceptualize, the more cautious I am about it, and like, and
It really is. Trash can't and this are really on opposite ends of the
yeah, I can just
visualization spectrum.
I can absolutely conceptualize trash can't. And the external shedding isn't that bad. They're actually pretty, there's parity there, I think. Because it's bad, but it's not a monstrosity where I'm living in hair now, and like I'm in this nightmare of a world where hair is haunting me everywhere. The bed sounds kind of crappy though. Like, I don't like sleeping in hair, but I guess I can shave it every night if I wanted. My routine was I buy a big shaver and I just do that, and but like the idea of like it's on the sheets, I can be rotating the sheets. Maybe I just invest in like 14 pairs of sheets, but now I'm changing the sheets every night. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm trying to think how I would even approach the bed situation. Like, I guess you would just have multiple beds or sleeping spots or whatever.
All of these are pretty inconvenient, though.
Yeah, right. But I mean,
what are you gonna? Because you need 14 if you don't want to deal with any of the hair, because that's like 2 weeks for it to go away. 14 rotation needs to be that kind of magical number if you don't want to think about it. But if you can deal with like,
I mean, the hair, I can deal with some hair, and like, hair is kind of soft, and so if I sleep in the bed one night and it grows 2.5 inches of hair, then I can put another sheet on top of it the next night, and it's just softer, right? And then maybe it grows again, and like eventually the lower layer of hair goes away, and I don't know.
Right. How much does laundry annoy you, by the way? Just like making your bed.
A lot. I probably
doing it every day now. That's a huge.
That's a lot. It's a lot, yeah. it would annoy me, right? And I'm not going to admit on the podcast to my bed laundry schedule.
But now if you stepped it up a lot more, every day would just be so exhausting. Pretty bad.
I mean, I don't know. Like maybe I don't know. It would be bad, but if I rotated between, like if I had a super king bed and I had two of those, right, then I could sleep in like 4 different positions, only changing the bed at certain times. I don't know. I'd figure it out. I'd figure it out.
When does a trash can become a trash can? Because I know I'm being silly.
I knew you were going to get in here. I knew you were going to ask the question.
So I'm putting trash, and I decide to designate my trash spot, and I build walls around the trash.
Right. If you subconsciously, in your soul, perceive it as a trash can, and it's being afforded as a trash can, then it will show its magnetism with a vengeance. It'll just vomit out all of your trash. Yeah, right. All up into the ceiling.
Goes everywhere.
It's almost like, screw you, making me into a trash can.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good answer to avoid like all the crap where I'm just building one wall and I'm looking around. It's like I has 2 walls. Okay, we've sheltered it.
Hanging
it's at
a trash bag from like a little hook or something. Like, is it a trash can now?
Like, I've experimented that 4 walls is definitely a trash can, but if I go against a corner of a room and I only build 2 walls, like stupid stuff like that. Or like what fabric, it's too solid, because a bag, you said I could do a trash bag.
Right, sure.
Trash tarp, maybe still, yeah.
One of the little laundry pop-up bins or something.
Like,
is it trash? What if I'm throwing away my dirty laundry? Then is it trash? When is trash trash?
A montage of me trying different experiments and it exploding at me. Pretty funny.
One man's trash is another man's treasure, so this isn't really trash and I can throw it away.
Yeah. These are safe keepings. These are like my treasure. This is my treasure box and this is my treasure.
This is a Flavor Saver storage container. Someone else could just clap and take it at any moment.
I think the roundabout of allowing like someone else to throw stuff away, I'm willing to pay the social tax, because I honestly think if they just agree and they get it, I would accept someone else like at work if they came to me and said, will you just throw away all my trash? And I'd be like, I'd be like, yeah, fine. I mean, honestly, I'd be willing to do that for someone.
How much?
So I'd like to think they would for me.
Well, let's go ahead and get your decisions on the record. So are you taking trash can't?
I think I'm taking trash can and Flavor Saver.
And Flavor Saver? Okay. I think I would choose the same, by the way. But
okay.
Would you, now that you're in that position, are you going to litter more? Like, like right now, what's your litter level right now as Daniel?
My litter level is like because I'm a
clean
teacher
up
and I try to model my behavior. Yes, I walk through the school and I know this sounds cheesy.
You like scrape
I totally
the
pat
chewing
myself
gum
on the back
off of the floor. With
I'm
a
walking
little
past
spatula.
the cafeteria and like I pick up a piece of trash near the trash can and I throw it away. And I do that to model it for. And I'm such a good human being.
You're already a superhero, so.
It's what you do when no one's watching that really reveals your character.
Right.
I do it though, and it's just so I would say the
Why don't
world
you
is left better because of me.
Why don't you spend your time actually teaching the kids and inseminating young minds instead of walking around picking up garbage? Like, do you really hate your job that much? Oh.
I aspire to janitorial duties. But you know what? Would you tell? I might even say, look, I've picked up trash for years now. I've built a debt.
Yeah. Your karma, trash karma.
My trash karma is pretty good. I might just be a little like, mainly like in the car. I'd be like, you know what? This one's going out the window.
Right.
But I think I might even invest in like some biodegradable packaging. The product costs a little more, because I am gonna litter more. I might take up eating fruit a little more and toss my banana out. Like there's some small, yeah. But I will concede. I think you're right that temptation somewhere along the way, like my trash partner isn't nearby, going up to a stranger to say, "Will you throw this away?" is a little strange.
Yes, it is.
And I'm littering. I think I'm littering. I really do. I think
I mean,
probably
you
going to litter
could-
significantly more. Even if I tried to manage it, I think I do more.
You could like bundle it up in like your fast food bag or your grocery bag or whatever, and like nestle it next to a trash can, and like that's the best you can do.
Yeah. I don't have a trash can in my car anyway. They sell those little things, but I don't.
Yeah.
I might actually need to with Cosmo. Like I've always thought, like that encourages too much like consumption and trash building in your car. Your car should just be like A to B and not a vessel in which you're. I mean, look, who hasn't eaten? I eat like an energy, like a power bar sometimes on the way to school, whatever. Like I'm not saying I'm, but this idea of I need a trash can in my car seems a little weird. Like how, like, but now that I'm gonna have a longer commute and a kid, like that, that losing that convenience might mean something. But if I have Cosmo, I can ask Cosmo to throw it away. I think I can manage this trash can, and the Flavor Saver is a little bit of a wild card because it's just so inconsistent. Sometimes I'm going to ask for that pizza and I'm going to get a whole pizza. It's just, was the wrong order or a day old or the bread is whatever. And like,
or,
food,
it was,
you can get really imaginative about it too.
Yeah,
so.
sure. I was trying to think, how much fatter would I get with Flavor Saver? Because like part of my fat maintenance strategy is that I just don't buy ice cream. I love ice cream, but I don't buy ice cream because if I buy it and it's there,
you will eat it.
I will eat it. And like, there are foods like crab legs and stuff that are just hard to eat, and the difficult, and like fried chicken is another one. Like, I don't like dealing chicken wings. I don't like dealing with the bones and stuff. But if I had this, I could just like, it would appear in front of me so easily.
When you're like, I could go for this, all I have to do is clap 3 times.
Right. Think about the Reese's
so...
Cups. Think about all the Reese's Cups I could eat.
Yeah.
Anytime Reese's Cups enters my consciousness, I could just say, you know what? I want one. And
how specific? Can I say frozen Reese's Cups? And just if anyone happens to like have forgotten about it in the freezer, like, or whatever, like I get those too. Like maybe.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Also, one more question. Does it randomize the selection or does it try to pull the very best available of the discards?
That's a good question. How does the magic work? I'm going to say it's whatever's geographically nearest to you.
Okay. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. Because that makes
it will
even
travel
more...
as far as it needs to.
Oh,
if I want
absolutely.
okonomiyaki from Japan and it has to go pretty far to get there,
instantaneous.
Fine,
Instantaneous.
Yeah.
But I like that because it makes it even more mysterious to you because you have no idea where anything is in relation to anything else geographically, and so it's all just you never know where anything comes from.
Man, I will think about Flavor Saver. Some of these, like, I move on. I won't think much about autopay. It doesn't titillate me. It's like, okay, I explored it. I asked some questions, and I'm like, okay. But Flavor Saver will be something I think about. Dave sends not infrequently pictures of his like discarded food or his brown yellow mush. Today, not a joke. He had leftovers from yesterday, and you might imagine how hilarious. I'm pulling it up just so I can. The thing is, and this is what I wrote. He said a very orange yellow lunch of leftovers. Even the hot dog bun looks more orange than normal, and he's right. It's a hot dog. 2 other products. I think one is mac and cheese, and the other is maybe a corn casserole. I don't, just. But if you and this is what I wrote. I said if you squint, it literally all looks the same. And Adam wrote, it doesn't even really look like a hot dog. And it's like it's all the. I'm gonna send you the picture. Actually, I wonder if I can just send it now. It's just too funny. And very, very. The point is, getting Dave leftovers is a real deterrent.
Yeah, let me take a look at this. And see. Oh man, wow! Look at that hot dog. Why? You know,
And this is not. These are not his discards. His discards are going to be much worse.
Right. Well, the idea.
These are his prepared, plated meals.
Yeah. The idea behind leftovers is that it's something that you want to save. In what world was this thing deemed save-worthy? Like, is it just a hot dog bun, or is there a hot dog in there?
I don't know. It looks
What
like
is
there's a hot
that
dog in
thing?
there. But
What is that cornbread?
That's what I meant. I called that corn casserole, but I don't. I didn't. I
don't know what it is. It does. There are pieces of corn in it. I guess it
But
is.
do you mean my comment of if you squint, hold the phone away and squint, it's all the same.
This looks like child food. This looks like, you know, like this is what Cosmo should be eating. This doesn't look like anything an adult should eat.
Child food from like the 90s where it's a little overly like just
It's all brown carbs.
Yeah. And his pictures all are like within 10% of that. You know?
That's hilarious.
Well, he has a weird thing where he doesn't eat crust, and so that actually extends to things that are crustless, right? So pizza is the natural thing, but it gets very funny when he doesn't eat the end of a hot dog, or he doesn't eat the end of burgers. Weird. He uses the crescent shaped, or like a hoagie, or excuse me, like. It gets funnier and funnier seeing like the remnants of stuff that are not jokes. That's the funny thing. He understands them to be funny, but it's really a weird peculiarity. Like, yeah,
yeah. God, I can imagine you're gonna get a lot of, because not eating crust is a pretty common weirdness, if you can even use that term. It's an oxymoron, I guess, but like weirdness. You're gonna get a lot of crust.
If I ask for sandwiches, I better be ready for that.
Yeah, definitely. You're gonna get some.
That's why you have to get. You might just say, "I want salami." Oh, I want. Bread.
Right, and then make your own sandwich, or have Danielle make as appropriate. You flavor save the ingredients, and then you say, "Hey, we make me the sandwich as is your role."
And then throw it away.
And then we throw this away, and then you don't eat the crust, and you say, "Can you throw this away?"
The crust of the crusts. It's a good episode title, possibly. The crust of the crusts.
Oh, yeah. The crust of the crust, maybe. The cream of the crust.
Well, you take the same thing. What are your concerns here?
Flavor saver. I think I would get over the gross factor within a day or so. Like, I'm just gonna accept it for what it is, and I don't think that would bother me too much. I am concerned about, the willpower to resist infinite Reese's cups. I would have to stay on top of that.
Or maybe you just change perspectives and say, "I'll be fat."
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. It's not worth that.
Is it fat, like because you'll feel bad too, or is it like is there a bit of like my looks too, or like what is?
No, I mean being fat. I mean, how many times have we bashed on fat on the podcast? Like, aesthetically, you're less pleasing, you're less healthy, you're going to die sooner, it makes you feel worse, it impacts everything you do.
I think it impacts your
negatively.
brain, even your thoughts. Like I don't know. Like I'm currently on a streak of not working out, eating poorly.
Oh, you're so fat right now.
I'm in a like look, and I don't know if the word depression is right, but it's a low level funk, man. And I'm looking forward to the move. Like it's just been like care for Cosmo in the day and survive. And like, but this workout, I've been working out consistently for like 5 years, man. This is the longest I've gone with just nothing and eating poorly. I know it's fun. It's all fun. But my point is that like it just like it seeps into your like outlook, your life. Like I'm sleeping poorly. I'm waking up in sweats because I'm eating a lot of like sodium at night. Like when he goes to bed, I'm just like I'm pigging out and enjoying myself. I'm staying up a little too late, so my sleep it's just bad all around.
Yeah.
Any physical health I'm not doing well with. Yeah. And
he's old enough now. You can just put him in the room and close the door. He's gonna survive.
He is opening. He's walking now, but like, and then I say walking like in quotes. You'll see.
Just lock it. Put a lock on it. This has been done for centuries.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I should just put a lock on it. He came into our room today, just like at 6:30, just like oh man.
That's funny. Flavor saver. that's good. It saves me a significant amount of money and time, right? I don't have to go to the grocery store as often or pick up food or
Sell
whatever.
me on auto pay. How is auto pay close to flavor saver?
Look, you don't just get off my nuts here, all right?
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
when I have a huge list of these things that I compile, right? And when I create them, I roughly order them, and I didn't spend a lot of time.
Fair. I won't give you a hard
comparing
time.
them,
Like, yeah.
So in retrospect, after we have like spent an hour discussing these, I would probably demerit autopay down to a 1 or a 2. And Flavor Saver, it's probably pretty good at a 3. Maybe it could bump up to a 4.
Yeah. We should do that. This should be a new thing. We actually, after discussing whatever for the segments, we renumber them.
Revise them. Correct all of my
I'm giving autopay a
mistakes.
1. I'm giving it a 1, really. Maybe a 1. We're not doing halves. 2.
No.
I'll give it a 2. Flavor Saver is a 4. Yeah.
Usually I try to compare to other similar numbers, that we've either done before or that we haven't done yet, but I have recorded, and say, does this feel like it might take Daniel a few minutes to choose between? And if the answer is roughly yes, then I'm okay with it. Honestly, it's nice if I happen to make it very tricky and difficult for you, but as long as you work your way through the pluses and minuses, if it's not perfect, that doesn't bother me too much. Yeah. But trash can. I just didn't know. I could live with that. Doesn't bother me that much. I don't. Would it be trashy to have a trash bag that I use as a trash can? Yeah, but I would just throw it away. In the dump. Oh, can I use my big green trash can? The rolling trash can.
No, I don't think
I can
I
use
think
that.
Dumpster. I don't think you can. You've got to go to the dumpster or buy a dumpster. I mean, you can buy a dumpster.
Yeah,
but
you
I don't even know how
can.
much.
That I didn't think about that because I was just thinking, I just have a trash bag. I don't generate all that much trash. I generate some trash, but not a huge amount of trash. And I can just put it in the trash bag and throw it away. And it doesn't alter my routine that much. It's just slightly less convenient. Maybe the trash bag
I just thought
spills.
about baby diapers and how much trash we generate. And I'm constantly taking out the trash. It's unbelievable. I'm like, how are we doing this? Getting back from Costco and I debox everything immediately. I like that. Like that's just something I like to do. It needs to go in its spot. I take out all. And man, I'm just like I'm taking out the trash. Probably on average once a day because it's 2 times a day sometimes. Well, but a kitchen bag trash can, like a little 30-gallon.
Yeah, but still,
man.
I take
all
out,
the diapers. God.
Now that I've moved and I have trash pickup, which comes every Tuesday, like that schedule motivates me to take the trash out. Like normally I would not have enough trash generated in a week that I need to take it out, but because they happen to be swinging by, I'll put my trash in the trash can and roll it out there. But sometimes I just don't have enough trash, and I say, you know what, I'm not rolling it out there this week, and and skip.
It's not smelly. You're not like lots of. That's the problem. Is like Cosmo doesn't eat like a quarter of his food, and these sausages or whatever get all nasty smelling. Like
yeah. Depending on what I eat, if it smells, then I definitely take it out. So I could live with trash can't. I would either have to buy a dumpster or be more inconvenienced and take the trash bags to a dumpster, which there are always dumpsters around that you can take them to. It just makes it a little more annoying, but it's worth Flavor Saver. So
yeah.
Wow, we really filled this one up. Nice nice job.
Yeah.
It always happens that way.
Yeah, I like it. All right, well, that's all.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Bye.